Good evening everyone and welcome to Gundam News. And a new month of course means a new Gunpla schedule. It's not a lot, but at least the two high grades that we're getting this month are two that I was personally highly anticipating, and I am certain that I'm not the only one. So quality over quantity, I guess. Both of them are getting released on the 10th, and links to still get them for yourselves are down below, as well as other cool Gundam stuff releasing this month. And the first one is the Gundvolva for 1,540 yen, 11 US. One of the coolest designs from Mercury so far, which unfortunately has only appeared like once so far. It's really simple and streamlined, but combined with that badass head and that serious color scheme, that's exactly what makes this thing so cool. And the accessories that it comes with are equally simple yet effective. A small beam rifle that can be stored on the calves, two beam sabers that can be stored on the shield, and an extra set of magazines for the beam rifle that can also be stored on the shield. Basically, it ticks all of the boxes that I love to see in a model kit. What they don't show though is if the magazine of the rifle itself is also removable. It would be a really cool feature to have, but considering the fact that they don't show it in the promotional images, I don't think they're going to do it. I also really hope that we're going to see more Gundvolvas in the future. But then next up we have the Demi Barding for 2,090 yen, 15 US. And what I find really interesting here is that we haven't seen the Demi Barding in the anime so far. So no matter what happens in this week's episode, by next week, we're going to know what the deal with the Demi Barding is and who the pilot is going to be. Because, you know, the Gunpla manual always gives you more information about the mobile suit itself and the person piloting it. So yeah, I would expect the Demi Barding to show up in this week's episode, but remember that we did go 1 week without an episode, so maybe this release schedule was still based on the original planned, airing dates of the anime. So because the anime is now delayed, the Gunpla might be giving us spoilers. So yeah, what I'm looking forward to the most is who is going to pilot it. And I'm of course really hoping for Choo Choo because her custom Demi trainer has been struggling a bit as of late. But whatever the case might be, the Demi Barding comes with a giant backpack with what looks like two cannons on the back, a large beam rifle, and two beam sabers. And I'm also really loving those shoulders and the energy pipes on them, or whatever they're going to be. And also today, a new Iron-Blooded Orphans Gunpla went up for pre-order, at P Bandai of course. The high-grade Oltlinde from Iron-Blooded Orphans Gecko. The kit will be using the Valkyria frame, but other than that it will be a completely new mold with a very nice and fancy hat and also a very movable left shoulder. And the yellow cross on it is confirmed as color accurate without the need for a sticker. For accessories then, we get an open left hand and two sets of double blades, one combined one and one separated one. However, the big news for this week again came from the figure front with a lot of announcements. Because yesterday, we got the second part of the Mega Hobby Plus 2023 Early Summer Online event. First up, from the Realistic Model series, we got the mobile suit container from Mercury. And after all of the hangers and launch pads, I never would have guessed that this would be next, but I totally need it. There's no price as of yet, but I'm fairly fairly certain that I'm going to snag one as soon as I can in fall this year. More details will be coming soon, but based on the promotional images, we can at least say that it is going to have opening hatches. I also wonder if we're going to have any light-up features like we have with some of the other structures. And the second figure was the Gundam Girls' Generation Suletta. But other than the unpainted prototype, we don't know anything yet. Still, we are getting a very happy Tanuki, and I wonder what that base is that she's standing on. In the past, we've seen Triple G figures with bases that are like related to the character or like the mobile armor that they're piloting, but I can't quite place hers. I feel like this is somehow a part of a mobile suit, but I can't match it up to the Ariel or the Ariel rebuild. So for all I know, it is just mechanical detail. But anyways, more details will be coming at a later date. And the new Witch from Mercury figures didn't stop there, because Banpresto also announced some new prize figures, with some being a bit better than others. From Witch from Mercury, we got the painted figures of Nika and Choo Choo, both of which will be hitting Japanese arcades in the 3rd week of November. And for being cheaper prize figures, Nika is about as good as she can get with everything nicely replicated, but Choo Choo, on the other hand, does suffer a little bit because of her very unique hair. It doesn't look quite right, but then again, considering the price that these figures usually go for, like $20 to $30, I do think they did the best they could. Like, to really nail Choo Choo's hair, you'd have to go up to like GGG, like Triple G or Gem quality, and therefore also the equivalent price tag. Next up then, we have the unpainted prototype of Guel looking nice and badass. He'll be hitting the arcades in December, and I wonder if we're going to get both a holder version and a standard Astacacia version. And since we're talking about prize figures from Witch from Mercury, if you want, you can again grab the Suletta prize figure, which is back in stock at Hubling Japan, so I'll have that link down below as well. And then finally, from Gundam Unicorn, we have Audrey, who will be released in Japanese arcades in November. And while generally speaking, she looks quite accurate, her eyes do look like they've seen some shit. Maybe it's just the angle, but man, does she look like she could use some sleep or maybe a good coffee. Then again, when you think about what her character has been through, like throughout her life, you could say that this is a very accurate portrayal. For the more expensive and movable figures then, we go to the Tamashii Nations World Tour Tokyo, where they showed off a bunch of old and new Gundam action figures. We already got teased that the other 3 Gundams from the original 5 Gundam Seed Machines would be most likely getting Robot Spirits figures, but now the Blitz Gundams figure has been officially announced. And it's looking nice and sharp with its almost completely black color scheme with red and golden accents. And alongside of it, the Aegis and Buster Gundam are also on display, so I'm sure we'll be getting more information on all 3 soon. But the unit that we'll be getting more information on really soon is the Lego, of which we'll be getting more information later on today. And of course, they also showed off the upcoming metal-built Astraea 2 with the Protozan unit. It also got a second wave of pre-orders this week, and what I forgot to mention in the video last week is that there is also a promotional video for the figure and a 10-minute anime where you can see the thing in action, and both of those videos are of course linked down below. And finally then, it has also been decided that the metal structure Kaitaishouki RX-93 new Gundam will be resold, with more information coming this summer. So let's just hope that it is coming back as a regular release, like it originally was, and not something like a P Bandai lottery deal that is exclusive to Japan. Next up then, blurring the line between model kit and action figure, we have the premium Bandai Limited G-Frame Full Armor Nightmare of Solomon set. Included in this set are the high mobility type Zaku R1A with 2 types of bazooka, a Heat Hawk machine gun, spare magazine and optional commander antenna, a Rig Dom with beam bazooka, giant bazooka, active heat sword and deactive heat sword, and a Gelgook with Gato's custom beam rifle, standard beam rifle, beam Naginata with flat blades, beam Naginata with round blades, beam Naginata without blades, a shield, and optional commander antenna. So while you are getting quite some stuff, as per usual with these P Bandai G-frame things, the price is equally high. 7,975 yen or 57 US dollars. But hey, at least it comes with a soda-flavored piece of chewing gum. Reservations went up last week Friday, and it is currently slated for a September release. And then for the folks who prefer their figures a bit more super deformed, on Wednesday, reservations went up for the FW Gundam Converge SB Nahel Argama. Unfortunately, P Bandai Limited. The set will set you back 5,390 yen, 39 US, and comes with the ship itself, a stand, a small Mega Rider, small Double Zeta Core Fighter, and soda-flavored piece of chewing gum. And all of this will be sailing your way in October. And then just today, the 25th lineup of Mobile Suit Ensemble went up for pre-order. One box of 10 will set you back 5,000 yen, around 35 US, and included in the lineup is the Aerial Rebuild Shining Gundam Windam, Striker Pack set for the Windam, and accessory set for the Aerial and Shining Gundam, meaning that there are a total of 5 to collect. Again, pre-orders are up as we speak, and they are slated for a September release. And these are a regular release, so I'll have them linked down below. And then on the gaming front, we also got some bangers, with the big news here of course being the release of the Steam version of Gundam Battle Operation 2. Finally. It's been a long and difficult road, but finally Steam users can now enjoy the game as well. Or at least they could enjoy it until the game went down because of server issues. Gundam Battle Operation 2's arch nemesis. And the people facing these issues were even more upset when they noticed that having the game crash or time out or do some other things because of those server issues would result in them being penalized. Something that then gave them plenty of time to write a negative review. So, unfortunately, at the moment of recording, Gundam Battle Operation 2 on Steam has a user score of 5 out of 10 and mostly negative reviews. But fortunately, the servers went online relatively quickly again after some emergency maintenance, after which they had to be taken offline again for more emergency maintenance. This is not looking good. I don't know what is going on behind the scenes, but I think it might have been better to delay the launch a bit longer. We were already waiting for a long time, so waiting a few more weeks or even a month or two, I think would have been less damaging to the brand than whatever the hell is going on right now. But on the bright side, to celebrate the launch, they are doing a giveaway over on Twitter with some cool prizes, so I'll have that linked down below. The grand prize is a perfect grade Zeta Gundam, and they've also got some other cool stuff like a Master Grade Full Armor Unicorn Gundam version Katoki, Master Grade Gundam version 3.0, G Fuel Collector's Box, and more. And then on the 14th, they'll have another giveaway where the grand prize this time around is the Master Grade Sazabi version Katoki, with other prize being the Master Grade New Gundam version Katoki, Master Grade Gundam 3.0, Master Grade Char Zaku version 2.0, another G Fuel collector's box, and more. Entries only for US citizens, void were prohibited. So, hey, at least there is somewhat of a silver lining to all of this. And talking about G Fuel, they did another collaboration with Gundam, bringing us the Gundam Unicorn and Gundam Banshee Shakers. Both go for $25.99 a pop, are currently up for pre-order, and will be flying your way in August. And if you need some Gundam-themed fuel to put in them, the MS M31 on Ramune Melon flavor is getting a restock. And Gundam Battle Operation 2 for Steam wasn't the only new launch either, because last week Thursday, Gundam Arsenal Base Linxtage Season 2 started operations in Japanese arcades, with the main features being bringing more battleships and captains to the game, as well as Witch from Mercury characters. And talking about arcade games, Gundam Extreme Versus 2 Overboost will be officially launching on June the 28th in Japanese arcades, of course. And then finally from UC Engage, we got the latest information bureau, talking about all of the upcoming things. The highlights are that there's an event for the 1.5 anniversary of the game, Kowodaki and his GBO2 will be appearing as a limited gacha, Yuri Ajisa and the Zeta Gundam P2/3C type from Gundam Evolve will also be appearing as a limited gacha, and they gave us a short snippet of an upcoming cutscene. And I really like how it looks like it would perfectly fit into the old movies. Like, they really nailed the style here. And if you want to watch the full information bureau, I will of course have that linked down below. And in other news then, Bandai Namco Filmworks has filed 2 trademark applications with the European Union's Intellectual Property Office. One is for Mobile Suit Gundam Silver Phantom, and the other is for Mobile Suit Gundam Requiem for Vengeance. But unfortunately, that is everything that we know so far. Considering the fact that it was Filmworks that filed the application, I've seen a lot of people speculating about what new anime or new movie we could be getting, or that maybe it's related to something that we already know about. But if you look at the application, there's also a section in there about video games and arcade games. So I think there's a good chance that both of them will be either video games or arcade games. And I'm personally hoping that Requiem for Vengeance has something to do with Witch from Mercury. And then this week's mobile suit. Girl is instead the pilot of the Core Fighter, H.A.R.O, or the Human Assist Programmed Combat Record-Keeping Operational Computer. You were kinda reaching with that backronym, weren't you? On to the things you could get this week then. On the 26th, the third Blu-ray and DVD set of Witch from Mercury was released. The DVD goes for 5,280 yen, around 35 US, and the limited Blu-ray set goes for 8,580 yen, around 65 US, and also comes with some cool extras. The 3 end cards of the 3 episodes on the disc, a special Gundam ink leaflet, and another issue of Astakacia's student journal. And then on the 27th, it was all about ZAFT with the Robot Spirits BuCUE version anime and the weapons set. The BuCUE itself goes for 7,150 yen, 51 US, and comes with the railguns, plus effect parts, beam saber blades, thruster effect parts, and even dust effect parts. And for 4,950 yen, 35 US, you can turn it into the Missile BuCUE, with a really cool feature. Each missile is molded individually, so you can either have it with all missiles, no missiles, or any configuration you want in between. And on top of that, we're also getting 3 launching missile effect parts. And also included in the set is the heavy bombardment equipment for the Jin, and again we get some really cool gimmicks. The big missiles have parts so you can display them either as stored or launched, they come with thruster effect parts, and they can also be attached to an action base. As for this week's reading material then, there was the big comic superior in which Gundam Thunderbolt is being serialized, Automedia Summer 2023, which has a special feature on the Juturk house and comes with a poster of Guel himself, Volume 10 of Hobby Japan Vintage, featuring model kits of the late 90s, and I absolutely love this cover. We've got the Turn A Gundam, the Temjin, an Astavales, the Swordfish 2, a Resin Sakura kit, and more. Then there was a new Mobile Suit Encyclopedia, this time featuring the Gelgook, Kempfer, Gyan, Zeong, and the Peasant Machines. And we got the announcement for a new Gundam manga. The Battle Tales of Flanagan Boone. Not exactly the first character that I would make a manga about, but then again, I can also think about much worse choices. And for the people who forgot about poor Boone, he's one of the guys who manages to get on board of the wide base, disguised as civilians to contact the spy who's on board, and later on he attacks the wide base with the Grublo. The manga is written by Hiroshi Onogi, who did the script for Zeta Gundam, Gundam Seed Destiny, and many others, and it is illustrated by Gigi and Pinch. They haven't done anything high profile yet, but they sure do have a unique art style. It's not really my thing, but there is a certain charm to it. And if you want to check it out for yourself, the first chapter is currently available for free online, and I will of course have it linked down below. The only caveat, of course, being that it is all in Japanese. But hey, at least it's not region locked, and you can have a look at Boone, his Zaku Mariner, and his fishing skills. On to this week's Gundam Apparel then, where Strict G kicked things off on Friday with their Sharks Counterattack 23 SS collection. And we've got some really cool designs here. For 4,730 yen, 34 US, you can get a navy t-shirt with Amro's personal emblem being protected by a fin funnel barrier. Then a black shirt with funnels flying all around Char's personal emblem, a navy shirt with the new Gundam popping out of a triangle, a black shirt with a Sazabi popping out of a circle, and then a black shirt with Char running, because why not? And then for 6,600 yen, 47 US, you can get a variant of the funnel designs on a polo shirt. Meanwhile, from Bankura then, on Suletta Sunday, pre-orders went live for a variety of which from Mercury things. For 1,518 yen a pop, 11 US, you can either get a Cool San or Hot San keychain, but unfortunately the chain isn't quite like it is in the anime. For 3,630 yen, 26 US, there's a Gundam ink towel with carrying bag, so you can easily take it with you in the summer. For 7,095 yen, 51 US, there is a Gundam ink poncho-esque thing, but instead of protecting you from the rain, it is designed to protect you against the heat, which is definitely a nice thing to have while queuing up for One Fest or Komike. Then for 4,950 and 35 US, you can get a Gundam ink bucket hat. For 3,960 and a pop, 28 US, a holder or Astraea multi-purpose pouch. And finally, for 1,320 and 10 US, you can get the Astraea acrylic logo display X. And with summer around the corner, or well, technically already here, meteorologically speaking, we also got these GOG and Zagog themed items to fight against the heat. Another towel to cool off, with carrying bag for 3,630 yen 26 US, another poncho-esque thing for 7,095 yen 51 US, and a black or white t-shirt for 3,520 yen 25 US. All of these items are slated for a July release, with the exception of the 2 keychains, which will be coming your way in August. And as always, let's quickly wrap things up with the polls. A few weeks ago, Gundam.info wanted to know which new announcements we were the most excited about from the Shizuoka hobby show. And I think that these results are very interesting because in first place, we do have the Master Grade Super Deformed Barbs with 31.3%. So yes, it won, but considering that it's the second entry for one of Bandai's new, like, flagship-esque model kit lines, I kinda would have expected it to win by more. Especially when the second place is the high-grade Todohachi, which is also Gundam-based limited, which got a whopping 29%. And again, this is a Gundam-based limited kit, so I can imagine that if it had been a general release, people would have been even more excited about it. This then tells me two things. One, people are really happy about the Todohachi announcement, just like I am. And two, the Master Grade Super Deformed line is all fine and dandy, but considering how little standard Master Grades we're getting, I think it might be better for Bandai to focus more on those and give us a few more of those. And talking about the Master Grades, in third place with 25%, we have the Master Grade Kämpfer Schwer. Sure, this Master Grade might be losing to the Master Grade Super Deformed Barbs, but keep in mind that this is both a P Bandai limited kit, and that it also uses the inner frame of a kit that is like 2 decades old. There's only so much to get excited about here. And then in a pretty distant last place, we have the entry grade Law Gundam with 14.6%. When it first came out, I saw a lot of people complaining about the Gundam, and it seems that this sentiment was somewhat reflected in the results for the model kits. Sure, as an entry grade, there is only so much to get excited about, but it is still the canonical grade of a main Gundam, so you would expect it to at least be able to do better than a Master Grade that uses a 2 decades old inner frame or a mobile worker. But no. Todohachi Master Race. As for the currently ongoing poll then, with Father's Day coming up, Gundam.info wants to know which character from Gundam we'd like to have as a father. And the real battle here is for second place, between Dozle and Bright. On the main website, Bright is in second place, and on Twitter, Dozle is in second place. And with their votes so far being very close together on both websites, anything could still happen. And of course, I voted for the one that immediately comes to mind when you think about family and Gundam. Dozle Zabi. In first place then we have Zinnerman, and dead last is Zeonzum Daiken. So maybe he should have been replaced with Tem Ray. He might have been away a lot and not the best dad from what we see in the anime, which, I mean, also kind of goes for Bright when you think about it. He was out on missions quite a lot when we saw him, but at least if Tem Ray is your dad, you could say that he built the Gundam. And if you also want to cast your vote, I will of course have that linked down below. And that has been all for this week's Gundam news. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great evening, and I'll see you all next week with more Gundam news.